enough people. And so we're probably going to be seeing this again, that there aren't enough people on the no-fly list. And you see, this is one of those words that we're really hearing put out, that even Donald Trump is meeting with the NRA to talk about this no-fly list and how that is going to be the new thing that keeps people from being able to access guns. So I'm sure we'll be keeping our eyes on what's going on there. But one of the things that's becoming a challenge for the internet, which, as we're seeing, you know, this is right at the time the FCC is clamping down on control of the internet. The social media giants are having to fight back against the fact that people are live streaming these attacks. The Orlando shooter was updating Facebook in real time with what he was doing. And of course, the deadly attack on a policeman and his wife in France was right there on Facebook Live, a 13-minute video of this attack taking place. And so now we're going to start seeing a crackdown on social media because they're getting sued. One of the Paris attack victims' father is actually going to be suing Google, Facebook, and Twitter, saying, you know, they let their terrorism spread. They let the propaganda spread. And this week, the FCC upheld the commission's net neutrality rules on Tuesday. So this allows the agency to regulate the internet like it's a public utility, so they can have more control, and they don't want any free exchange of information in a technocracy. So we will definitely be talking more on that, as well as the hackers who've released the secret Clinton docs from the State Department, which is DNC's Trump opposition file. We'll have more on that coming right up. And then joining us from Dallas, Kit Daniels. Well, thousands of alleged DNC documents have been released online, and this was a hacker who has released these secret Clinton docs, and it's all the Trump opposition file. So this hacker kind of went online and said, oh, you don't believe me that I really accessed this? Well, boom, here it is. It's a hacker identifying as Guccifer 2.0, and that's an homage to the now imprisoned Romanian hacker who was the one who actually first revealed that Hillary had a private email. But now he's saying worldwide known cybersecurity company CrowdStrike announced that the Democratic National Committee servers had been hacked by sophisticated hacker groups. I'm very pleased. The company appreciated my skills so highly. But in fact, it was easy. Very easy. And so he's just kind of bragging and saying, shame on CrowdStrike. Do you think I've been in the DNC's networks for almost a year and saved only 2 documents? Do you really believe it? Here are just a few docs from many thousands I extracted when hacking into the DNC's network. And so this first document that we have featured here is the DNC's 200-plus page opposition research file on Donald Trump. It details the party's narrative regarding the presumptive Republican nominee. So this hacker just did Trump's camp a huge favor. It's huge because, as he can see, their whole game plan, and it almost reads like a timeline because you can see the things that they struck with first. You know, he treats women bad. He's a liar. He only cares about himself. He offends minorities. He's racist, bankruptcy, his foreign policy. So these are all things that we have seen happening already, but there are other things on there we haven't yet gotten to with the media and the Hillary camp attacking Trump. So these are things that we should expect to see in some of these campaign attack ads that Hillary Clinton hasn't even started attacking Donald Trump yet. Of course, she's been having to work on Bernie Sanders up until last week. So now, you know, Trump might have a little bit of the upper hand with these opposition files. We'll have to see if Guccifer 2.0 is going to release anything else. But something very interesting, last night or the other night, I reported about this apparent hack, and the DNC said, don't worry about it. They haven't been able to access any of our donor information. No money, nobody has been exposed as far as their address and this. But that's not true, because he also pointed out that that was a total lie. And this hacker, he or she, released the donor information as well, just a few pages of it showing Morgan Freeman and Steven Spielberg and Barbara Stifel, you know, random people, all of these companies, showing millions of dollars being donated to the Clinton camp. I guess we don't have any of their super identifying information there as far as their address, but we know what state they're from, their names, how much they donated. So once again, the DNC lied to its donors, not only didn't tell them that they had been hacked into and trying to work on it for over a year, but continued to take in that personal information and then lied and said, don't worry, it wasn't, at any kind of a threat at any point. Now, Hillary Clinton also came out and said that this was atrocious and that, how could a government server be hacked like this? It's not safe. Total irony lost on the fact that she herself set up a home brew server, which clearly wasn't safe at all because the original Goosefer was the one who was able to access her files. But, that's neither here nor there. Now we're going to be going to tonight's Trump rally. There on the ground, we've got our reporters to see, if Donald Trump's got a new card up his sleeve. Joining me now from the ground in Dallas at tonight's Trump rally is our reporter, Kit Daniels. Kit, what's going on? Describe the scene.
Yes, I'm here in downtown Dallas, and what we've seen so far is a huge police presence. I don't know if you can see it on camera right now, but the local media was reporting yesterday that they were expecting about 3,000 to 4,000 protesters, and the Dallas police did a riot training in Fair Park yesterday. They took the threat very seriously. Now, that said, since I've been here, I've only seen about 50 protesters, and I've seen there's been waves of Trump's people coming to see Trump the past hour and a half. I've seen probably maybe 5-6 times as many Trump supporters than protesters. This was strange. I've actually seen a lot more INFOWARS people with INFOWARS shirts than Trump protesters. Now, there's been a couple of factors. One thing is the police have taken this place very seriously. They have put down perimeters, barricades, what have you. And actually, I think in a way they've overreacted because it's hindered my ability as a journalist to report on this event. For example, there was a parking lot outside the event where they're having the media stand, and there's a building right there, and across the corner of the building are the protesters, and the police kind of got them in a free speech zone. And I tried to walk over there, but the police stopped me and says, "Hey, you can't come on the sidewalk. You got to stay in the parking lot." It's like, well, how am I supposed to go over there and report on the protesters? Like, well, you can come over here, but you can't go back. Meaning I can't go back outside the Trump event. I wasn't even going to go into the Trump event. So, I understand how the police are protecting the people coming to see Trump speak from violent protesters like we saw with Sha'Carri Jackson, who got hit with a rock, I think, in Albuquerque. But, we should be able to protect Trump supporters without infringing on the First Amendment and freedom of the press.
Exactly. And so from what you can see with the protesters, is it the typical grievances? Are we, he's racist and this and that, or what were you able to find out? Yeah,
that's the one thing in the past 6 months since INFOWARS started reporting on these Trump protesters. They're all the same. They all use God Wants Law, for example. They call Trump a Nazi. Trump's racist. They use straw man arguments. Like when I was in Wisconsin, for example, this lady told me that Trump wanted to deport African Americans back to Africa. I was like, well, when did he say that, man? He's like, well, one of his supporters did. And I was like, who? David Duke? That's not Trump saying that, So it's like Trump gets blamed for stuff that he's never said and he doesn't believe. So, it's the whole thing, you got these protesters that come out here with the same signs, regardless of what part of the country you're in. You see a lot of anarcho-communists. And a lot of these people, the thing I noticed about the Trump protesters is they want to rabble on and on about Trump, but they don't have any solutions on their own end.
Exactly. And as we can see, those talking points come directly from the Trump opposition file, which, of course, now thousands of these alleged DNC documents have been leaked online, where it shows their talking points and then their backup talking points when those talking points seem to fail. And it is Trump's a racist. He treats women bad. He went through bankruptcy. What do you think anything is going to happen at tonight's Trump rally? Will he talk about the fact that this hacker kind of did him a huge favor here?
That's a very key point you just made, Leanne, because what I've seen from these Trump protesters at the Trump rallies, it seems like a very top-down movement. They're getting their orders from above. This is not a grassroots Trump protest. Now, I'm sure there's some grassroots people that are coming here to protest Trump, but they're very few and far between. So that's why you're seeing this homogenealogy, if you will, with the Trump protesters. They're getting their orders from George Soros. They're getting their orders from George Soros groups. Even if they're not directly on George Soros's payroll, they're still getting orders indirectly.
Absolutely. And of course, all the propaganda that they get in schools, like we spoke to someone during the Ask Me Anything who said that his dean actually scolded him for wearing a Make America Great Again shirt. So at all directions, these kids are getting propagated to. Well, Kit, thank you so much. Where can people go to watch the videos? I know you guys are going to be there in Dallas. If anything does pop off, uploading stuff from Trump's event.
Yeah, we're going to be uploading to the Real Alex Jones channel on YouTube and also my YouTube channel, Resistance News. So check both of those out. And also visit INFOWARS.com throughout the night, and especially in the morning. We'll have some videos uploaded there as well.
Thank you, Kit Daniels.
Thank you.
Now, after tonight's Trump rally, the guys are going to be heading to Houston and then on to Phoenix. They're going to be filing a lot of reports, hopefully getting to speak with some of those protesters there. And if they don't have them set up in a free speech zone in these other areas, we'll be able to see sort of the debate between the pro-Trump and the anti-Trump people that are showing up to these events. And hopefully we're going to be getting some more epic debates, just like the one that you're going to be seeing in the segment coming up. It was a 16-year-old boy who held his own in the face of people who were just yelling racist this and racist that, and man, just calmly slamming them down with facts. It is an epic takedown. You're not going to want to miss it, and that's coming right up.
Small U.S. cities with access to affordable housing and manufacturing jobs are quietly receiving the bulk of Obama's invading Islamic Jihad army, stretching unsuspecting local city budgets to the breaking point. Bold statement yesterday on the Alex Jones Show, retired DHS officer and whistleblower Philip Haney explained why radical Islamic terrorists are falling through the cracks despite unprecedented government data gathering.
When you encounter people coming back from flights from overseas, or when they're preparing to depart, to go outbound, we call it, to go overseas. We have the authority within the border, a greater amount of authority than the CIA and the FBI combined, to gather this kind of basic intelligence information. And over the years, we have been handcuffed more and more to the point where we're barely capable of gathering the kind of information that we could then share, let's say, with the FBI.
Some targeted American cities are already being pushed over the edge. For example, Amarillo, Texas, known as the Yellow Rose of Texas, one of the largest meat-packing cities in the United States, home to the V-22 Osprey hybrid aircraft assembly plant, food giant Cargill, and also home to Pantex, the only nuclear weapons assembly and disassembly plant in the United States, has taken in well over 1,000 Middle Eastern refugees already, the highest in the nation. But when you add refugees sent to Amarillo from countries outside the Middle East, the numbers skyrocket. WorldNet Daily reports Amarillo has received 5,251 foreign refugees since January of 2002, according to the Federal Refugee Database. That's more than half of the nearly 8,000 refugees sent to Texas during the same period. President Obama has increased that number of foreign refugees bound for American soil in fiscal 2016 to 85,000. That's a 20% increase over the previous year, and 10,000 will be coming from the jihadist hotbed of Syria. Many of the community organizers have received training or consultation from David Lubell's Welcoming America organization, which was started with seed money from billionaire George Soros. Breitbart reported in January of 2016, Amarillo Mayor Paul Harpole said, "We've been a giving community, and it's a huge disservice to bring in refugees in numbers that we're not able to handle. We create small ghettos." The Amarillo, Texas mayor continues. A group of Somalis came in to say that they had elected a mayor of their community. Then another faction claimed they had their own leader. We come to find out that rival tribes, slaves, and masters were being settled together. Amarillo 9/11 calls are now being fielded in 42 different languages. Harpole told Watchdog.org that Washington pays schools only $100 per refugee student per year. He continues, "We have 660 refugee kids who don't speak English, and the U.S. Department of Education says they have to be at grade level within 1 year. It's a ludicrous requirement. They don't even know how to use the bathroom." And while Governor Abbott and the Texas Health and Human Services Commission continue to push lawsuits against resettlement organizations and the federal government for not presenting regular consent, As required by federal law, crime levels in Amarillo are reaching levels on par with much larger cities.
Amarillo also has the highest